After my other video with regards to just showing you how quickly to wire up the Dallas one wire temperature sensor, I just thought I'd obviously spread it out a little, because when I looked at the picture it was a bit clumsy, but as you can see here we've got 3 sensors. Your resistor, people will notice that it wasn't a 47 K resistor, it was a 4.7 K resistor, so congratulations to everyone else who's going to point that out in my other video. I will make a little speech bubble to tell you that I have got that wrong. Also, another little thing, and I've only just done it tonight when I was spreading these out, I managed to put these back to front. If you do that, what happens is these get quite hot, so hot I actually thought I was melting the Raspberry Pi, but didn't, which was fine. So what I'll do is I'll cut into the actual code side and start showing you on how to get it so we can read all 3 temperature sensors like I have been doing on the single one with the Morstan Mansion, and that way you can see on how it'll all work. Now, one thing I will point out is it's okay reading these temperature sensors just as is. You know, as soon as you pop the page up, it'll tell you what all 3 temperature sensors are. It's clumsy and data intensive if you're using a web browser for that kind of information. Now, there is a thing called WebSockets out there which HTML5 can manage quite easily, and the Raspberry Pi. I haven't gone into the full depth of doing this at the moment. It's still just another one of the projects that I kind of got it scribbled out. I want to get that clear, because I think once you start getting into not only getting temperature sensing information from multiple sensors, when you start getting that information in a real-time environment, or almost real-time, your mind can go wherever you want to. I did mention about the guy who's done the beer brewing element on my other video. I'm quite interested in actually applying this onto the van that I've got in terms of monitoring the temperatures of the fuel going in, just purely on the basis I'm also interested in using cooking oil to power diesel vehicles, which again is another project. Well, you know, we'll keep it simple for now. So what I'll do is I'll flip onto the other video and start doing all the coding and just showing how simple this can be. Right, so here we are with the coding elements. First of all, I will apologise for my change in the way I'm recording the screen. I seem to be having a bit of a technical issue with Windows, and I can't get my head around trying to get the recording to work on Ubuntu whilst we're recording screen and also audio at the same time. So I'm being crude and just recording it using my tablet at the moment. So if we follow on from my other video where I was able to show you how to get 1 temperature sensor showing, now we've got the 3 as shown in the previous video to get your different temperature sensors from 3 that I've got plugged in. The actual coding is quite simple. Now, on the first video I showed you where to locate your initial temperature sensor. So this one now, if we go into the same area under your file structure, which is sys/bus/w1/devices, do an ls-l, ls-l. We can now see that we've got three temperature sensors now. So first one, second one and third one. So because of now we've got an identifier for each of them, that gives us the opportunity of now being able to get the temperature from each individual one. So if we go back to our files that we've used before in the previous video, you'll have a file called temp.php. And what this does is this actually goes into the file system, and for each temperature sensor it basically strips that file down, strips out effectively the temperature sensor, and then makes it variable that you can then display back to your web page for updating. So from the previous video you will probably be familiar with this top line here, which basically all we're just saying is variable is equal to where the the temperature sensor resides, which is the W1 slave, the identifier of the temperature sensor. But then what we need to do is just add a 1 and 2 for individual ones thereafter. Now I do know that there are going to be some very smart people out there who will be able to tell you that there is going to be a cleaner way of doing this, and I won't make it well, I'll make it known that this is probably not the best way to do this, but this will get you the crude way of just being able to show temperature sensors or multiple temperature sensors. I mean, I've just done 3, and being able to show them on a web page. And if you just want to get up to date, you can press F5 to refresh the screen, or just code a bit of a refresh in there on the web page itself. However, there's an area that I want to investigate myself, which is WebSockets. That will allow probably a more real-time update. It's another one of my projects that I want to go through. I'll get around to doing that eventually, but for now this will just give you the raw data. So the next part, so what we're doing is we've got 2 more temperature sensors, so I've called them file 1 and file 2 respectively, and then allocated the relevant temperature sensor on each line. Then the next part, you've got where we read it by line, so I'm just saying read the additional temperature sensors and output to file 1, file 2. Then I wanted to take it's actually the second line that we need to do. So again, it's just kind of almost duplicating what you've already done for one sensor, but then doing it for more. Again, there is going to be a cleaner way, and when I find it, I will probably do a follow-up video to this, so we can be as neat as we can with the code. Now, with that, once that's all done, you just do your update, press save, and then what we'll do is we'll come back to the actual index page itself. Now, to get the 3 temperature sensors on the normal video, you would just have this element here, this class, that will give you the nice circular temperature sensor, and in the first video we were just echoing out the temp variable. That will obviously just give you the temperature sensor of 1. However, what we need to now do is we're doing 3 of them. So we've got now we've got temp 1, which is referenced back here to temp 1 here, and then we go into temp 2, which is then in reference to temp 2 here. So you can see now we've got 3 temperature sensors all being read. So I'll just close that down, close that, and then as if by magic, as they say, I've now got 3 temperature sensors. Now currently they all look the same. However, if I just grip this one, what we should do is if I press F5, like mentioned, you'll see that the temperature sensors are changing in an odder way than I've got it. Now this might be the fact that I've got the temperature sensors very well. On the breadboard earlier I did have them far apart, but I actually moved them around. I just want it to be not hands all over the place. But you can see the top one's rising quite quickly, with me just holding on to the temperature sensor. Now if I grip 2 of them, you'll see they'll probably come into line more. One thing I will mention with these temperature sensors, they are pretty sensitive. The residual heat just coming from my fingers is more than enough to make alterations. As you can see on the bottom one at 26.1, that's just residual heat from my finger, and it's what, a good 2-3 millimeters away. But there you go. So there you have it. So that's multiple temperature sensors. Again, you can play around with this, how you want to make it show. You could probably, let's have a quick look. Let's get in here. You could probably bring them all around so they'll just line up one by one if you wish to. But it's entirely up to you. I'm not going to do it for this demonstration, but there you have it, multiple temperature sensors. Hope you enjoy, like and subscribe. Okay, thanks.